Hey everyone, welcome back. So, we are continuing our discussion about marketing strategy. And when we were talking about strategy, we were talking about how it involves all of the different tactics and activities that you use to attract your target customer, right? Part of that comes down to marketing channels. So, a marketing channel is the people, the organizations, and activities involved in getting your product from production to end user. So, this is how you distribute it, where you distribute it, um, whether you choose to sell it online or in a retail store. It is also the means or channel you use to inform your customers of your product. This is also called distribution channels. So there are four different types of distribution channels as far as categorizing them. So there's direct selling, where you as the business are selling directly to your consumer. So these are your store locations, or if you're doing like a specific trade show or demo and you're selling directly to your target consumer. This is also if you're doing an online store and you personally are selling to your end user. There's also selling through intermediaries. So if you are a wholesaler, then you will sell to a retailer who will then sell to the end consumer or the end user. You may also want to practice dual distribution. So maybe you sell your item directly to the customer, um, but you may also sell from your personal business to another business who then sells to the consumer. Um, you also have the fourth type is reverse channel. This one sounds really confusing because it's consumer to consumer, but I want you to think of like secondhand stores, like thrift stores, or if you were to sell, let's say, something that you thought was a hunk of junk, and then a business refurbishes it and redesigns it and then sells it to the consumer. So these are the four main types of distribution channels. So, how do you choose a specific channel to use? You want to look at your consumer preferences. So, again, this is all about knowing your target market. Where does your specific end user shop? Do they shop online? Are there specific retailers that they prefer to shop at? So, are they shopping at, Nordstrom's, or are they shopping at Walmart? Are they shopping from Amazon, or do they prefer to go in store and purchase their goods? Every type of distribution channel that you use is going to cost some kind of money. And so you're going to have to consider the cost of what it's going to take to get your product from, production to the end user. So you want to consider the costs. It might be a lot cheaper for you to ship it on your own or to have it drop shipped than it would be for, you to set up an entire brick and mortar store, right? So you have to kind of consider what your costs might be. It might be cheaper to do it online than it would be to build a brick and mortar. Well, obviously cheaper, right? You also want to consider your brand. Obviously, if you're trying to promote something that's like a high-end brand, and you're trying to, target those customers that have more disposable income or are in a higher income bracket and have more money that they can loosely burn, you probably are not going to want to put your high-end brand in somewhere like Target or Walmart or CVS. You're going to want to pick, Neiman Marcus and Nordstrom's and, higher end locations. Your brand, building your brand and choosing what type of store or how you sell them is going to add or take away perceived value. And so you need to stay true to what your brand is. You may also consider localization. So this is targeting a specific area or location and trying to increase foot traffic to your store, right? So you want to consider potentially choosing a distribution channel or an area that's within a specific neighborhood or certain area, or if you're talking about selling online, that it correlates to their consumer preferences of where they might be clicking, right? And so you want to kind of localize those marketing strategies. Now, when we're talking about using media channels, there are three types of media. So there is the media that you own, okay? So this is your website, blogs, your mobile site, social media. So these are things that you own, you operate, you set up, right? Then you have your paid media, which is pay-per-click or PPC, your display ads, paying influencers, paid content promotion, people promoting your content on different platforms that you've paid them to do, right? And then you also have your earned media, which is when somebody shares your stuff, right? So they're sharing your blog, they're sharing your website, they're sharing your content. And so these are shares. This is word of mouth mentions. These are reviews, reposts of your content. And so these are things that these are the three types of media that there is. So some example media channels are your website. I cannot stress to you enough how important a website is in this day and age. It is important that you set up a website because it immediately increases your credibility. The first thing people do when they find out a business is they Google the website. They want to know who you are, what you're selling. They want to know your backstory. And like I said, it immediately establishes you as a credible business. Without a website, people may not believe that, you have a business or that they can trust you, right? And so adding that website adds that credibility. You've got social media. There's all kinds of different kinds, obviously. You've got, your Twitter, your Facebook, your Instagram. Even Snapchat is being used as a social media platform. So you have all these different free social media platforms. You have pay-per-click advertising, which is you pay a company, they put your ad out, and you only pay for the people that it attracts, which means they actually click on your ad. And so you'll pay for each individual click. You always have your SEO or search engine optimization and content marketing, which is basically keywords that are put on all of your ads that will increase the amount of traffic that comes to your website. And so having lots of different social media platforms and people searching, let's say that you own a pizza place in Oceanside. People might put, restaurants near me. You want to make sure that you have that keyword of restaurant. If they put in pizza, obviously you want pizza. If you want, family-friendly dining, all those sorts of things are going to help you get to the top of those Google search lists, because the more that people click on your ad, the more that they search you out specifically, it increases your chances of people getting to your website. There's also direct mail marketing. So this is where you actually send things out in the mail, or email marketing. You're sending, emails and blasts. Hey, we've got this new promotion going on. Come on in. Or hey, we know it's your birthday. Come in for $5 off. Obviously, there's the radio. There are endless, like I said, there's lots and lots of different marketing classes on how you can specifically use these things to your advantage. I just want you to be aware of them. These are things that you can use in your marketing plan and in your marketing strategy of how you're going to leverage these type of media channels to help you create more revenue and help you create brand awareness and get you more people in your door, right? Now, all of the things that we've been talking about come down to what's called a marketing mix. So marketing mix is the process of getting the right product at the right price, at the right time, to the right people, right? And so this is also known as the 4 Ps. So that's product, price, place, and promotion. So your 4 Ps. Some people argue that there's 7 Ps, but we're going to focus on the 4 Ps for now. So first is your product. Your product must satisfy the needs of a certain group of people. So again, that's your target market or your target customer. You want to make sure that your product actually does what it's supposed to do, what it's promised to do, so that it can actually fill that need and create that benefit. You'll want to know what the life cycle of your product is. So what that means is you've got several different phases. So you've got the introduction phase. So these are new products in the market that have never been seen before. And then they start to catch on. And so that's where they hit the growth phase. Now they're a pretty common, thing. People are aware of them. That's where it's at the maturity phase. And then you'll hit your decline phase. So people either lose interest or there's a new item on the market that's kind of pulling from that specific product need and want. And so you'll want to know what stage your particular product or service is at. You want to create a diverse product mix. So this is having, multiple products that meet the needs of multiple segments. So you want to make sure that you've got that diversified a little bit. You want to make sure that you know what your competitive advantage is. So competitive advantage is what you do better than your competitors. So what is your competitive advantage? What are you doing better? What services are you providing that they're not providing? So you need to know what it is that makes you unique and differentiates you from your competition. As we were talking about, when you're talking about perceived value, price means a lot. It's extremely important that you consider how to price your product. So you want to look at your competitors and you want to kind of gauge your price around what your competitors are doing. You also want to consider how much it cost you to produce that product. So we'll talk about cost of goods sold here in the future, but how much did it cost you and how much money do you need to make are also things to kind of consider. How much do you need to make to keep your business running? And so these are all items that you have to kind of consider when you're looking at your price. You also, again, need to know your consumer. If you price it too high and you're a brand new business, they're likely not going to pay for something that's really high in price when you're unknown. You're an unknown, right? If you also price it too low, people are going to assume that it's inferior. That whole you get what you pay for comes to mind, and they're like, okay, well, the competitor is selling this at $100. This one's only 40. What's wrong with it? Right? And so there's that perceived value. So you want to find that sweet spot, and you can play around with price and see what gives you the best response. But these are all things to consider when you are choosing a price for your product or business or service. Now, placement goes back to those distribution channels. Where is your product going to be the most accessible to your consumer? Where do they shop? And so is it someplace like Target? Is it online? So using those, looking at those criteria of where will my consumers be able to access this item? If you are somebody who is selling surfboards and scuba gear, you probably want to be close to the coastline. This is where you're going to have the most access to your target customer, right? Somewhere near the water. And so you have to consider where you're going to place that item. So promotion is anything that you do to improve brand recognition. And so when you're talking about sales organization or personal sales, this is how you plan to handle, track, and coordinate sales. So it's the entire sales process. This is how you train your employees to talk to your customers and have those one-on-one interactions. This is how you handle your lead generation. How do you follow through? How do you track who's called? And so how do you take all the information of your particular customer and put it in the computer? And what is it that you're looking for? So all of that is your kind of one-on-one interactions with your customer. You also have your PR. So these are the steps that you take to maintain your brand and company image. These are usually the activities that you don't pay for. So these are um, events that you attend, maybe free events or speaking. These are contacting the media. It's crazy to me after owning a business how easy it is for you to get on the news or to be placed in a magazine. Those type of companies love doing stories, and so contact them directly. Hey, we've got this new store. Do you want to come check it out? Or hey, I've got this new business doing A, B, and C. Would love to talk to you about it. It's free and it's super easy. It's surprising to me. Attending, conferences and doing demo events, things of that nature. So these are all part of your PR and creating, good public relations with the community and just getting a good name for yourself out there. Then you have your advertising, which are all of your paid um, communications to your market. So these are ads, commercials, radio, print brochures, direct mail marketing, your signs that you put out, influencers, etc. Um, and then you have promotions. So a promotion is used to boost your sales temporarily. Okay. So these are for short term projects. So these are discounts, special offers, giveaways, contests, the way that you merchandise your store. So these are all types of sales promotion. So what is it that you're going to do to boost your sales temporarily? Are we offering 50% off today? Or are we sending out, to our uh, best customers, hey, thank you for being awesome. Here's $10 in our store. It's encouraging action as well. So you're trying to get them to do something when you're doing some type of promotion. So if you're doing a giveaway or a contest, you're trying to get them to connect with you, participate in that contest. They're most likely giving you their contact information when you're doing a giveaway or a contest. All right, take another break. We are almost done, I promise. Just one more.